Hello, my country people. Now, good morning, afternoon, and evening. My people. I dey like this man video Dele. Anytime when he come out, come talk, it dey make sense. A video, if you sit down, listen to a video, everything when they talk from the beginning to the end, it makes sense. He come out, come talk about this 23 election. He talk about Etiko. He talk about Peter Obi. He talk about election. He talk about a lot of things. So please, just give me 10 minutes of your time. May you sit down. Listen to wetin him dey talk. Una go understand wetin I dey talk. And if you watch this video finish, you feel say yes, so this video makes sense. I no go keep this video for myself. Somebody else need to hear this video. Make una follow me share this video. Don't forget to press the like button and the notification bell. So anytime when I put any program, you're there among the very first people you go see am. My people, I beg una. Make una say they follow me, they share my video as I talked before. Make I leave una, make I not go waste on time. I'm ready to say more things about this man. But if I say make I stay more the video go long. So man leave una, make una watch the video because he have said it all. So leave your comment. Thank you guys and God bless you. Bye-bye.
Marriedness. What's your assessment so far before we go into the campaigns? I'm aware, of course, like other Nigerians, that 24 Nigerians have sued the electoral body over, the issues about 7 million voters looking like they will be denied the opportunity to vote, having not been able to complete their registration. Do you think that this signifies a cause for worry, or are you satisfied with the preparation so far that INEC has made towards the 2023 general elections?
I think the first thing we all have to agree on is that unlike 2019, the lead up to which was largely attended by voters' apathy, the level of engagement this time around is completely different. There hasn't been anything close to this since 1999. I can say that having participated as a voter in all but a couple in that time. And when you speak to the preparedness or otherwise of INEC, I think largely INEC could have done much better than it has, but that's also a function of how it views its task. If an electoral body sees its job as being to ensure that as many voters as possible get to vote, then it will work towards the simplification of the process of registration and even the balloting itself. But it would appear that our own INEC is not particularly prepared for citizens' participation in what we call our democracy. So it has struggled to do the most basic. I'm not surprised that it is already dogged by suits. And I am happy that you are seeing these suits because it also shows the level of voters' awareness, involvement, and readiness to participate in the 2023 elections. It's unlikely we would have a perfect situation. But I am hopeful that before that election time would come, as much as possible, INEC should be able to read the tea leaves and understand that this is not going to be the usual election. When it comes to just exactly how 2023 might be a different ball game, I think once upon a time, these political campaigns were usually held in stadiums, and then they will call their favorite DJ or musician, and he will sing, and then you see old men doing breakdance to prove just how strong and virile they are. And then they will go home, they will wave brooms, they will wave umbrella, they wave different things, but those were the two prominent ones. And then at the end of the day, the party structures would come into play, and those would be sufficient to ensure who gets to declare itself the winner, or the judiciary would eventually have to deal because of the murky waters that everybody had to swim in during what was called election. But this time around, it's already becoming clear that this is going to be election unusual. I saw the 4 children's tweeting from the street of Abuja yesterday. I'm not sure you can pack those ones into a stadium somewhere and simply call a DJ and not explain to them exactly what you want to do with the future. Because what 2023 is about, really, is about what we want to do with the future, whether we want to throw it away or whether we want to interrogate all the maladies that we have normalized and then seek to find ways to drag ourselves out of it. So I think that's what 2023 will be about, and I think to a very large extent, you are not likely to see a repeat of 2019 where you had about 27 point something million voting, I believe, out of a voting population of 81 million, which meant that you had about only a third of the electorate engaged sufficiently to vote, and that is in spite of widespread malpractices. So 2023, with electronic transmission of results from the polling booth, which is the minimum, the INEC must, at a minimum, because without that, there is no point having an election. We might as well just allow INEC to write his usual things. But this time around, the key reason why most of us have become invested in the process is because we believe that if you are transmitting results from the polling booth, it then becomes almost impossible for you to do the usual manipulations that would happen at the collation center. So there is a level of voters' confidence in the process promised, and we are hoping that INEC will come through with it, because without that, there's really no point in having an election. We might as well stop fooling ourselves once and for all. But with electronic transmission, the game changes. We are a little, Nigerians are better engaged. I'm expecting to see at least a doubling of the last electoral numbers. I'm expecting to see a doubling of that. The youth are engaged, and that constitutes the largest voting bloc. And it's their lives, not the lives of men in their 80s and 70s, presuming to tell us what the future looks like. I think that should have sufficiently answered the question.
Yes, it does, it does. Now, well, beyond the preparedness of INEC, let's get your overall assessment of the presidential candidates and hopefuls we have ahead of next year's general elections, and what visa option signifies for the future of the country.
You see, Abby, there is something that amazes me about Nigeria and our rulers. That electoral process next year, it will shock some people, because the youth are engaged and they are the ones who vote. You are either going to misdirect their energy or you are going to positively direct it. Now they have been presented with choices. It's not just the presidency. That's one of the biggest errors we make. This is not just about the presidency. It's from councillor, when that time comes, all the way to the presidency. The persons in the state houses of assemblies matter. Those who will be in the governor's lodges matters. Those who are going to the House of Reps, the Senate, and ultimately the presidency, they matter. But since you've asked and we are particularizing to the presidency, I have had occasion to address the candidacy of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Vice President Etiko. These, in my own opinion, are old men. The scripture says that old men shall dream dreams and young men shall see visions. They have not done anything, as far as I'm concerned, in any sphere, and we can begin to deal with specifics, to suggest to me that they have the capacity to lead Nigeria into the future that it needs to urgently go into. I've had occasion to mention the fact that the current regime in power in Nigeria has more or less destroyed hope. The country has never been more fragmented. All the old fault lines have been opened up. And in the midst of the hopelessness in this space, it's become almost impossible for anyone to persuade sufficient numbers of Nigerians about the preservation of where we are. So it has to be about where we are going. If it has to be about where we are going, it has to be young persons who have the capacity to imagine a different future, even though you must always have your narrative, because if you are just talking about ideals without relativity, it becomes impossible to get the people galvanized. Right now, as far as I'm concerned, the obedient movement is doing its job sufficiently. The young men and women who have invested their hopes in Mr. Peter Obi, they've invested. It's not, the man know they give shishi. He has said it severally. But people are sprouting up from the 4 children in the sitting room. They are getting up and they are making their voices heard. And they are making it clear that they are investing their hopes. It's about hope, because in reality, hope is the only thing that we have lost in Nigeria. Hope in the capacity of our rulers to imagine a different direction. But this man has come, he's offered that hope. He's not Voltron, he's not God, and he's definitely not going to be infallible. But it is not about his person. It is about the ideals that he will set forth, or that he has set forth, the life that he had lived, that will make enough people believe, if they do believe, and then they come together, invest these hopes in a man. If the man fumbles, it's not about the man, it's about the ideas that we would all have stood behind. If that man fumbles, another man takes the baton. The reality is that we need to be traveling in a different direction. And a large percentage of the Nigerian youth have shown clearly, and are showing clearly all over the country, that they know the direction they want to travel, not the direction that we have traveled all these years. It's the same direction. The two, Mr. Etiko, Mr. Tinubu, they are mirror images. It's like different sides of the same coin. So for me, I have only one candidate in the coming race, and I appear to be the 4th of the 4 children tweeting in the bedroom somewhere.